Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is UFC Investor. In this video, we're going to be talking about Dana White's Contender Series Week 6. I'm going to be going through each of the fights, giving my picks, my breakdowns, and my bets for each of the fights. We're also going to be talking about one of the fighters who might be the only pro MMA fighter with the Mataora face tattoo. Hopefully the first UFC fighter with the Mataora face tattoo. And another fighter who might be the first UFC fighter who is a proud player of Runscape, which is a video game. But we're going to start off with the first fight. So let's start from the bottom of the card. The first fight of the night should be for Dallin Mantello versus Ahmed Hassanzada. This fight, honestly, I feel like these are two guys that have lost before in Dana White's Contender Series. Mantello got subbed. I think Hassanzada got finished, if not knocked out. Let me double check that. But I know that Mantello's from Ray Longo's team from New York, and he got subbed in the first round by Krzyzewski, who was in the UFC, but he's like 0-2. And Hassan, who got finished by Nazim, who's I think also from Ray Longo's team actually. Yeah, so both of these guys got finished by, or actually Hassan, this is the second time he's going to be fighting someone from Ray Longo's team. So I feel like maybe Nazim gave Mantello like a bit of advice for Hassan in order for him to beat him, maybe like a tip or something. But Hassan's training at Team Alpha Male. He has 2 wins since his loss in LFA. I mean, I do look at the LFA loss and kind of wonder why he lost right after a Contender Series fight. Because you would think his Contender Series fight would be like the highest level of competition, but he took an LFA fight with the Joshua Streaker, and this guy, I mean, he's lost, I don't want to say a lot, what is he, 9-6? So Hassan lost to a 9-6 guy right after Contender Series, so it doesn't look too good at all. But this guy actually, he's not too bad, I would say. He fights like pretty decently, decent people like Charlie Campbell, who's in the UFC, so I don't blame him for that loss. And he lost to Dakota Bush, who's 13-4. So this guy's actually fighting some decent people. I mean, I guess 0-2 in the UFC, but him beating Ahmed doesn't. I don't want to say it completely doesn't take me off of him, but I feel like Ahmed might have a chance to beat Mantello because Mantello lost to a guy that subbed him in the first round, and Kanan is like 0-2 in the UFC, even though he seems to be like a submission artist. But I don't know, it just doesn't look too good. I mean, he lost to Elvis Brenner and Kurt Holloway. I'm not saying Holloway is bad, but I mean, this guy's kind of old. So if Mantello can't beat Kanan, then I'm not sure if he can beat Ahmed. I feel like Ahmed is slightly, if not a little bit better than Mantello in terms of the people they've beaten. Ahmed is training at Team Alpha Male in California. He's from Afghanistan. He's never been subbed before, so I would assume he might have an advantage if this goes to the ground. And I would think he has been working on that. I mean, his last win was from ground and pound, TKO, and then a knee bar right before that. That loss to Josh Streaker doesn't look too bad, and obviously he lost to Nazim, who's actually pretty decent. He's 2-0 in the UFC, so I don't blame him for that one. Right now, I'm leaning towards Hassan by decision. Even though I think both of them are good finishers, I just think they're both going to last it out. And Hassan's just going to somehow win it by control time, if not the points. Maybe by submission threats, if not a submission. I was actually picking Hassan by submission, but I feel like Mantello is just going to be a little bit more durable than I expected. And both of them are just going to go to the decision. And I'm thinking Ahmed might be able to pull it off. I don't want to say neither guy is going to get a contract, but I'd be surprised if one of them puts on a great performance. I feel like it might be like a war of like some mid fighters. Not to say I'm a good fighter, but yeah, I'm not too excited about this one. Definitely don't want to bet much on it. I'll probably, if I had to pick, obviously I'm picking Ahmed by decision, but I can see either guy winning. Mantello by KO, even decision, I guess. But Ahmed could win by submission or decision. Mantello has gotten submissions before, but I don't think he's going to try to get a sub on Ahmed. But even then, it could happen. Regardless, I don't want to bet much on this one. I would try to stay away from it if I was going to bet. But let's go to the next fight. We have Naito. Actually, let me show you guys. So Hassan by decision. Let's go to the next one, which is Naito versus Ateba Gautier. Gautier is from Cameroon, I believe. Yeah, from Cameroon. I want to say Musasa, the guy that was on Dana White's Contender Series Week 5, he was also from Cameroon. So I've heard in the Discord vines that people are saying that Dana White's trying to fill the roster with African fighters for the African card for Dricus to headline. But who knows? If it could be that he just has been having a lot of eyes out there and looking for prospects out there at the time. But regardless, Musasa did kind of impress in terms of him going to decision and even getting the decision win. I was kind of surprised. I think Otar won that, but anyways, that was last week. This is this week. Ateba seems just like a bigger Musasa. I don't want to say he's just as dangerous as Musasa because he does have like some decision wins. He actually lost a split decision versus Glenn Williams, but he does have a lot of first round KOs like Musasa, or just like a dangerous striker. And he's going to be fighting a guy named Yura Naito, who is from Japan. They call him Two-Face. This guy is actually, from what I've been seeing in videos, I guess he's like a really decorated wrestler for his area. He's never lost. He's undefeated, 6-0. Also has a lot of first round finishes, but I just don't think Ateba is going to be the type of level of competition that Yura's used to. I feel like Ateba is just ready for that shot to try to get into the UFC, and I think Yura is just going to have a hard time controlling Ateba, because on the feet I don't think Yura is going to want to strike with Ateba. I think Yura is going to want to try to take this to the ground and try to sub him. At first I was picking Naito by sub, but I'm just going to stick it out with the underdog. If anything, he might not be an underdog anymore. Last time I checked on Bovada, they were both even at minus 110, minus 120. So pretty much I would say people are betting on both sides equally, and this is a flip of a coin. If not, I think it might be on Ateba's favor now, because Yura was a favorite and now Ateba is starting to even it out. So in saying that, I think I'm going to pick Ateba by KO, or actually decision. I think Kura or Yura might get those takedowns in, and like maybe control Ateba from time to time, but I feel like Ateba might throw in the striking and some damage enough for the judges to give him the decision win. I don't know if he's going to finish Naito, because Naito's never been finished, but I feel like Ateba just has a good chance to out damage him in terms of like when they're striking on the feet. So because of that, I'm going to be picking Ateba by decision. I was picking him by KO before, but I'm going to be more conservative and assume that Ateba is going to try to elongate the fight and not try to gas out too soon, if not try to find a finish too soon. And I think he's just going to point it out. He's been training at Top Team Manchester, which I would assume is a decent team. Honestly, I don't really know how many fighters are coming out of there, but still a top team. And Yura's, I'm not sure where he's training at, but I don't think it's anywhere notable, I would say. Reversal Gym, Yokohama, somewhere in Japan. But I just think Ateba's just too... I mean, look at the guy. If you saw him at Dana White's Contender Series, the weigh-ins, he just looks so jacked. He looks muscular as hell. So I think he's just a genetic specimen that will give Yura a really hard time. And I think I'm going to take him by decision. And like I said, he was a underdog before, but now he's I would say just even... if not maybe a favorite, I would say, by the time the video drops, or if not by tomorrow. I feel like he might be the favorite, but still, it's still a flip of a coin. I'm going to be going with a Ateba decision on that one. So far 2 decisions. And the next fight, we have Benjamin Bennett versus Joey Hart. So we have Mr. Alaska versus the Hitman. Honestly, guys, I'm really biased on this one. I really want to pick Bennett because he's a wrestler. He's been training at Denver, Colorado Elevation Fight Team, so his cardio is good. He's 6 foot tall, 3-win streak, 30 years old. The last fight was an LFA. He's 2-1 in the LFA. He lost to Trey Waters, who's in the UFC right now. I believe he's undefeated. Yeah, 2-0. So he's only lost to a really good fighter. So obviously we don't blame him for that loss. He actually got a title here. Solid as a Rock Fighting Championship. He beat Micah Graff again. And then he beat a Luis Aguinez in the LFA by a unanimous decision. I mean, he was 6-5. How old is this guy? 38 years old. So, he should have beat him. So this doesn't really impress me too much. Since the Trey Waters loss, I don't think he's been fighting the best competition, maybe other than Graff, I guess. I mean, he's 7-0. He has a lot of fights, but he's been in a loss streak. So I'm not too impressed by Bennett's record. The only thing that scares me about this one is that Hart I've seen some videos of Hart fighting some guys, and he does seem to be taken down a lot. So I'm hoping, if not worried, that his takedown defense is going to be there. I mean, he's 6-3, 27 years old, from Minnesota. It's crazy that he doesn't have any submission wins on Tapology, because I actually saw a video where he tapped the guy out, I believe. So I know he has some jiu-jitsu skills, but it might have been in an amateur fight. Yeah, most likely. Yeah. So he's 6'3". He's really big for the division. If you saw the weigh-ins or the face-offs, you could see how much bigger he is than Bennett or Benjamin Button, as I should say. He's been finishing guys knee round 1 strikes pretty much by KOs, and most of his wins he usually doesn't go to decision. And his only loss has been in a decision versus Dyler Kuriev, who wrestled him for a win. So I believe since then he's been working on his wrestling, and I think that's what's been helping so much in his striking and his finishing. I just don't know if his takedown defense is good enough to stop Bennett from taking him down. And if he does stop Bennett from taking him down, I'm pretty sure he's going to piece him up on the feet. I do think Hart has the advantage on the feet. If he gets to the ground, I think he does have a chance of subbing Bennett, because I've seen him do it in at least in amateur fights. But this is also a really hard one to predict, I think. Right now, the odds have them at Joey Hart at a -115 and Benjamin Button at a -105. So it's pretty much almost of a flip of a coin. And like, it was pretty much similar to Teba and Yura, where the odds had Hart more at, I think the first day I checked, he was a -130, but now he's a -115. So the money's coming into Bennett. Maybe it might be late betters, who knows? But regardless, it seems to be more of a flip of a coin now. But I'm still going to be going with Hart, and I want to say it's because he's a RuneScape player, guys. If you go to his YouTube, he has a YouTube. He actually has a video of him PKing, which is player killing in the game. So it's just him just playing the video game RuneScape, which is a really old 2007 computer game. I used to play it all the time. But anyways, that's why I want to pick him. I'm actually putting $6 on him to win, just because I like him, and I think he has a really good chance of winning. And I would love to see him in the UFC. He might actually become one of my favorite UFC fighters if he does get into the UFC, because he might be the only player or the only fighter that is a RuneScape player. So it should be fun for him to get in the UFC, because he's a striker. He's 6'3", really long. He reminds you of Alex Caceres and even Sean Woodson, kind of, in terms of like his stature. So I really hope he wins, and I hope he beats Bennett. I'm going to be picking him by TKO in round 3. I feel like he could do it in round 1 or 2, but I feel like Bennett's just going to try to take him down and make it last until a decision. But I think towards the end, Bennett might tire out, if not lose his chin a little bit, or loses his energy, and Hart might catch him and just KO him. At least that's what I hope. Maybe with the knee or something in the clinch. But regardless, I really hope Hart wins. He's not an underdog pick, so he should win in terms of like what the odds are saying, right? But even then, I feel like a lot of these are flips of a coin so far. If anything, Hassan might be the most I guess one-sided one, but even then, I think all 3 of these are just flip of a coin with slight favorites. So that's what I have. Hart by round 3 TKO. Hart also has videos about I think Elden Ring, and I saw an interview about him talking about like a game called Chivalry and like Overwatch. So he just seems like a really relatable guy. I mean, he's only 28 years old, so he still plays video games. So it would be really interesting to see him in the UFC. On to the next fight. We have Teixeira versus Arthur Lopes. Honestly, guys, I didn't really look too much into this. After hearing just some bits of information, I could see why Talison's the favorite. If you guys have also been watching videos, Talison is like 6'8". He's Brazilian. He's literally huge. 24 years old. 6'8", like I said. A bunch of KOs, even submission wins. I believe he actually competed in a BJJ tournament. If not, I know he has BJJ experience in tournaments from what I've heard, and I guess he's also fought in a kickboxing fight. But regardless, he just has a lot of finishes in round 1, and he's coming in at a -650 from when I looked on Bovada, and he's going to be fighting a guy named Arthur Lopes, who from what I heard is going up a weight class from like light heavyweight to heavyweight now, I think, or if not middleweight or something like that. I know he's going up a weight class or weight classes. He's only 6'2", 31 years old. He's a heavy underdog at +450. Teixeira is a -700. Tapology has him as. Arthur Lopes, I didn't even look at his record, honestly. 6-1. I think he didn't fight in like years. Last time he fought was in March 2024. That was this year, but before then it was 2018. But I guess it is kind of impressive to see him coming back from 2018 and then 6 years later to fight Daniel Butcher and win a belt. So let's look at Daniel Butcher, who's 3-6. So I don't think the belt he won was that prestigious, that's for sure. I mean, this guy's been losing a lot, so I don't really count that win at all, for that belt. Before then, he's been fighting in, I guess, Brazil in like regional promotions. I mean, he beat this guy 18-9. I mean, oh wow, this is actually a pretty decent win. I mean, when you look more into, okay, 4-7. Yeah, I mean, even, yeah, let's see, Leandro Rodriguez. Let's see. Yeah, the guys he's beaten don't have the best record. So I could see why he's such a huge favorite. Even if you didn't look at their records, just their stature alone, him being 6'8" versus a guy who's like 6'2", 6'3". I mean, this guy's going to have a huge reach advantage at 81 inches versus Lopes, who is they don't even have his reach, but I'm pretty sure it's shorter than the other guy. He's only 6'2". So I don't feel like I need to talk about this one much. I feel like it's pretty easy pick for most people. If I were to bet this, I would pick, I mean, I'll probably put Teixeira in some parlays, but I guess if you even count that at a minus 700, but Arthur Lopes, he usually wins by KO. So, I mean, I would pick maybe Arthur Lopes by decision or KO. I don't think he's going to get a sub, obviously, but I would literally only throw like 50 cents at that, which I will. So yeah, guys, that's going to be the pick. I'm going to go with round 1 KO for Teixeira. I feel like it's really straightforward for this one. If he doesn't win, then it's just kind of like, what the heck? He's either gets fraud checked or he makes a mistake and, you know, loses. But I really feel like he's just gonna prove a point, and I think Dana White's gonna like this guy if he gets a finish. I mean, he's going to be really easy to market, that's for sure, at 6'8". And then we're going to be looking at the last fight of the night. Aaron Tao versus Elijah Smith. Right off the bat, guys, this is the guy that I had in my thumbnail, Aaron Tao. He has a Mataora face tattoo, which is like a face tattoo that was that's for his like tribe or his clan. So it's like a tradition thing. He doesn't do it for looks. He does it for like his family, pretty much, or tradition. So he's from Auckland, the same city kickboxing, pretty much. He's been training with Dan Hooker, and Hooker's been kind of taking him under his wing. But I'm assuming he's probably training at city kickboxing now with you know, Izzy, with Hooker, with Kai Car France. But yeah, Aaron Tao, I feel like he should be able to win this. He's never been finished. He's an underdog right now, which I find kind of surprising. At a plus 185, he's going to be fighting Elijah Smith, who is the son of Gilbert Smith, I believe, who was a guy who was on Tough, I guess, at one point. He never won in the UFC, but still, he does have some lineage to the UFC, and that probably did help him as he was growing up in terms of his motivation, maybe. But yeah, Elijah Smith, he has been KO'd before. Other than that, he's never lost a decision or subbed. But he has lost to a Reyes Cortez in round 3 KO. You know, I mean, this guy seems decent. I guess he's lost twice in the Contender series. So to Peyton Talbot, you know, I don't blame him for that Peyton Talbot loss. And C-Rod, man, they put this guy up against like some pretty good fighters. He beat Elijah Smith. Damn, I'm kind of surprised they didn't put this guy again rather than Elijah Smith. So that kind of, it surprises me why Elijah Smith is such a big of a favorite. I would assume because he's really athletic, way bigger than Tao. If you look at the weigh-ins or the face-offs, you could see how much bigger Elijah is than Tao. I don't know, guys. I feel like Tao, I think he's going to dog it out. If anything, I think he has a chin, even though he has been, he hasn't been KO'd. I think in amateur, yeah. He's been KO'd before in amateur fights, but in pro, he's never been KO'd. If anything, he's been finishing guys by striking and submissions, and he's even gone to decision before. So I think he does have the cardio, he has the hands, and the grappling technique to be able to win this. And I think he might be the only underdog pick that I have for the night. Every other person, other than Lopes, is pretty even in terms of odds. But this is going to be my only underdog pick. I feel like Tao can pull it off. I think he's going to bring City Kickboxing another win. I mean, Hooker just got a win recently. Kai Car France got a win recently. Izzy, we're not going to talk about that. But I feel like he has the team behind him. He has the motivation. I feel like he has a purpose and the drive and the want to be able to be in the UFC. Like I said, he has the face tattoo, Mataora face tattoo. I don't think he does it for looks. I think he actually does it for his family, pretty much. So I'm excited to see what kind of fights he's going to put on, what kind of show he puts on. From what I've heard Dan Hooker talk about him, they actually did an interview with Dan Hooker kind of talking about him. Dan Hooker says that he's kind of like, he feeds off the crowd. So I'm assuming he's going to be putting on a show. But yeah, guys, I'm going to be picking Tao by finish at round 2 TKO. His nickname is Taozimup versus Elijah Smith. They call him Swift. I don't know. I feel like the odds should be a lot closer maybe I'm just missing something. I did see Elijah Smith fight, and oh, I think that's what it is. Elijah Smith is actually a decent grappler, so I feel like if he takes Aaron Tao to the ground and just keeps it there and controls him, that's how he'll win by decision, if not a submission too. But I don't know. I feel like Aaron Tao is gonna be ready for this. He's training with some of the best people. Elijah Smith only has one sub win and one decision win. I feel like on the feet, Tao is gonna have the advantage in terms of like maybe probably going in the pocket. If not, I don't think in terms of distance, I think Smith has that edge, but I feel like Tao is gonna pull off an upset here. And after Vanilla Izzy, if not, or not, how should I say, Navajo Sterling or Vanilla Izzy, he won last week, so I think they're gonna be riding off the energy, and I feel like he's gonna want to win with this team too. I feel like after Izzy, after he lost, Kai Kara France. Well, I think it was backwards actually. Izzy lost after Hooker, and Kai Kara France won. But still, I feel like they won, and I think Tao's gonna win too. So yeah, guys, those are my picks. I don't want to say I'm confident Tao's gonna win, because obviously Elijah Smith has the grappling and the athleticism and probably the technique to be able to beat Tao. But I feel like Tao is just gonna dog it out for a victory, decision, if not a finish, in a pretty convincing manner. And I think he's gonna get into the UFC if he does win. So I have Tao by KO round 2, and that's gonna be the last fight of the card. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit more about Aaron Tao's like face tattoo. There's like an article about it. Aaron Tao proudly taking Mataora and the Ao Maori to the world stage of combat sports. Like I said, the Mataora face tattoo. A lot of people have it, not just guys. The women have it too. Here's the video of him getting the face tattoo. And yep, that's him. And even a photo of him and Dan Hooker. So he's a lot smaller than Dan Hooker. So you can imagine how small he is. Because Dan Hooker's like 6 foot, I think. So he's pretty small. If, like I said, I'll show the picture of him next to Elijah Smith. He's really small. But yeah, he's been under Dan Hooker's wing, learning from him, you know, absorbing the energy in terms of like the events and all that, the experience. And I think he's going to be the first UFC fighter with the Mataora face tattoo. I think he mentions that Kai Kara France and Hooker have their own like traditional tattoos like that, but they don't have the face tats. And I don't think they will get one, but I think he might be the only one with the Mataora face tattoo in all of pro MMA. It looks pretty cool, honestly, and I hope he wins. Other than that, he seems like a decent fighter. I do like the fact that he's from CKB, and I hope he wins. But just to round off the video again, or just to summarize the video again, I'm going Tao round 2 KO, Teixeira round 1 KO, Hart by round 3 KO. Really hope he wins. For RuneScape, I have a Gautier by decision, kind of thinking off of the Musasa vibes of him, of maybe Yura trying not to get KO'd and him losing because of that. And then the first fight we have Hassan or Ahmed to win by decision. Okay guys, so as for my bets, if I had to bet on each side, I'm just going to be getting off my theory of method about how they could win. And if I were to bet this, this is how I would do it. Dylan, I think he might get a decision win. So if I were to bet, I would pick Dylan by decision. Ahmed, I would bet him by decision or submission, but most likely decision on either end. I think this can go the distance, but maybe there's a finish. As for the next one, Yura Naito versus Ateba Gautier. Yura, I could see him either getting a submission or a decision. Ateba, I just either see him getting most likely a KO of some sort, a TKO, and or a decision. But I don't really think he'll get a decision. I think most of his only way of victory is through KO. Next one, Benjamin Bennett versus Joey Hart. This one, I'm almost positive, if not very confident, Bennett's only way to victory is by decision. I feel like he has to hold Joey down and just beat him up, and I don't think he's going to get a submission on Hart. As for Hart, I think he can win by any method. I think he can sub, KO, or win by decision. I think that's why I like him so much. He does seem to show some BJJ experience, so I think he could get a submission, but most likely I would pick a KO for Hart. All right, next one, Taliesin Teixeira versus Arthur Lopes. Both guys, I think they can get a KO, obviously. Decision, I don't think it's likely on either end, but I think, yeah, if it did, it's a very low likely outcome. I think most likely this fight is going to get finished in some sort of KO or TKO. I'm pretty confident about that. The last one, the main card, is Aaron Tao versus Elijah Smith. This one, honestly, I feel like can go anywhere. I feel like either guy can get a submission, either guy can get a KO, either guy can get a decision. This one's very hard to predict, I think. But if I had to pick, I would just pick Tao by KO and Smith by decision if I had to pick. So I'm probably going to be putting 50 cents on each of those methods. But yeah, guys, those are my bets, at least if I were to bet. I haven't done it yet because Bovada doesn't release the bets yet for some reason, at least the methods. So I'll probably be doing that tomorrow. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys watching, subscribing, liking. If you guys haven't liked the video, subscribe please, or comment anything. It'll definitely help out. Any criticism, any thoughts, what your picks are, what you guys are going to be betting on. If you guys comment, I'll definitely reply. Oh, and I wanted to say, guys, thank you guys for 20 subscribers now. Literally, in the last video that I posted, I had 11 subscribers. So from the last video to this video, I gained 9 subscribers. So I think I'm going to be trying a lot more to make better thumbnails, that's for sure, because I think that thumbnail, I think people thought it was kind of funny. I actually got a couple comments saying that they thought it was funny, and I think I got even just like comments in general, because one guy was even talking about how Alexa was sitting next to Sean somewhere. I don't know what he was talking about, but yeah, anyways, guys, I'm going to be making another thumbnail hopefully for this video. Hopefully it's kind of funny. If not, the next thumbnail should be, you know, comedic in a sense, or lighthearted. So yeah, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.